All right, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day in mathematics. Whoop, whoop. How's everybody doing? Good? How's your weekend? Yeah? All right. Did anybody do anything nice for your somebody at home? Very good. Yeah, some of us. Yeah? Yeah, whenever you have a chance, either, I don't know, wash a car, mow the lawn. How about, should I dare say, clean your room? Imagine that. They're going to be like, what happened to my people? And if all else fails, wake up and make them some chilaquiles or some pancakes or something. All right, so warm-up number 18 is on the screen. First two is to simplify. Number 3 is to solve. Number 4, identify the greatest common factor. I'll give you guys some time for that. Copy and go. You should be able to do all these 4 by yourself pretty quick because we've been working on these. Yes? Yes, Mr. Q. All right, copy and go. All right. So you get us started, please, for number 1, Alexandra. What'd you get? You haven't finished it yet? Okay, I'll come back to you. Number 2, help me with number 2. Jaden, what'd you get? 9x to the 4th, oh, to the 2nd power? Okay. You know, it's multiplication, right? Yeah, number 2. Hold on. Negative 3x to the 4th power minus 9x cubed minus 11x squared 36x minus 6. Hands if you got that. Looks about right. Number 3, what'd you get for number 3? Noel, solution set of x such that negative 10 less than hands if you got that. That is correct. And yeah. Number 2 is 31x. Let's double check. Let's see. We got x squared plus 5x plus 6. And then on top we got negative 3x squared plus 6x minus 1. Okay. So let's see. This is negative 3x to the 4th. That times that is positive 6x cubed. That times that is negative 1x squared. Next, 5x times negative 3x squared is negative 15x to the 3rd. 5x times 6x, that's positive 30x squared. And 5x times negative, it's negative 5x. And last but not least, 6 times negative 3 is negative 18x squared. Then 6 times 6, that's positive 36x. And 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. So let's see. Negative 3x to the 4th, yes. We got negative 15x cubed plus 6x cubed, that's negative 9x cubed, okay. X squares, we got 30 minus 18, that's 12, minus 1, that is, it should be positive 11x squared. Then we got 36x minus 5x, that's 31x. Frida, let's go from the corner. 31x and minus 6. Thank you. All right, hands, have you got that? Yeah? All right. And last but not least, GCF. Greatest common factor of 32 and 12 is 4? 6? Let's see, 4 times 8, 32. 4 times 4 times 3 is 12. 6 doesn't fit here, and yes, here, so it is 4. All right, copy the agenda for today, please. We got warm-up number 18 done. Today we're moving on to factoring polynomials, so let's figure out where we're at. We started with polynomials, classification, which means naming them, right? From there we went to addition and subtraction. Then we went to multiplication. So what's left? Division. So yeah, today we're going to be doing division, but we're going to do it in a way that it's really not division, it's just finding the two numbers for the division problem, which is known as factoring. Factoring. We're going to be factoring today. But in essence, it means to divide. All right? So, no Nearpod code. There wasn't any home play over the weekend, but for tonight, it's only 10 problems for a play sheet. It's already there in the module for polynomials in your Canvas. So get a Cornell note ready, please. Our objective for today, I can factor polynomials. I can factor polynomials. Now, do we need a Ferri model for polynomials? No, by now I've been hammering this like pretty much, yes. So you should know what to tell your neighbor as a definition for polynomials, yeah? Tell your neighbor, please. Polynomials are? As soon as the pass is done. So, I'm just giving you a heads up. Today's topic with factoring, some of you had problems in the past, no pun intended. Problems, get it? Anyway, some of you had issues with factoring in the past. Today I'm going to try and clarify those issues with, I'm going to baby step everything before we really get completely immersed in the factoring process, okay? All right, so make sure you're focused, please. You don't need any electronic devices, so you can put those away. All right, y'all ready? All right, here we go. I can factor polynomials. So, and let me go back. Factor, once again, I mentioned today when I ask you to factor, all it means is to find factors. And what does that, factors. And what are factors, Mr. Q? You don't have to copy this. This is just clarifying. Factors are two or more numbers that multiply. Keep that in mind. Factors are what? Two or more numbers that multiply. So they can be written just side by side like this or with parentheses like this. When they're written like this, they're called factors, okay? So, polynomials, we know what they are, and so on and so forth, okay? So, last week we started with GCF. And, Delilah, can you get the door, please? Because the sound from the outside is going to get us distracted. So last week we've been working with greatest common factor, and if I was to give you these two numbers, look up 24 and 18. So find the greatest common factor. I said, train your noodle to start with number 1. Does number 1 divide both of them? Yes. About number 2? Yes. About number 3? Yes. About number 4? No. 5? No. 6? Yes. 7? No. 8? No. 9? And that's it. So the greatest common factor, the GCF, is 6. All right? So I baby step you up to right there. What I want you today to do in your noodle is think about it like this. Once we identify the GCF, I want you to rewrite that using the GCF. So how would we write 24 using the GCF? It would be 6 times 4. How would we write 18 using the 6? 6 times 3. So once you rewrite them, you identify your GCF. Here it is, here and here. But then you need to think about what is left over. For this side is a 4, and for this side is a 3. Everybody got it? Okay, let's do another one. Don't copy this. It's just, we already did these. About 20 and, give me a number. All right, 15. All right. Think about those two. Tell your neighbor the GCF for 20 and 15. GCF. Everyone, GCF is 5. So how do I rewrite 20? 5 times 4, and this one, 5 times 3. So my GCF is 5. What's left over on this side? 4, and on this side, 3. Are we there so far? Okay. The same idea is going to be built, but now with variables. And once again, I'm trying to clarify doubts here before we move on to the full factoring portion. Start with the numbers first. What would be the GCF? Let's see, is there a number here and over here? There is none over here, so for the numbers, there is no number that's in common, aside from 1. So what do we have here? Now we have variables. Let me break it down so you guys can see it. Here we have x times x times x. What do we have over here? 2 times x. So what do we have in common for both? X and x. So my GCF would be what? X. Question. What's left over for this side? 2 of them, but they're multiplying, so this is x to the second. What's left over on this side? 2. Copy that, please. Now, for some of you, are like, Mr. Q, I think I remember this stuff. Yes, I know. This is kind of like a review in a sense. Okay. Once again, I'm trying to break it down as much as I can. I'm using all the mechanics for you to see it, because eventually, guys, look up, you're no longer going to be doing this. You're going to be doing it more automatically, like finding GCF like straight through. Okay? So let's see. We did numbers, and then we did variables, and now we're going to combine numbers and variables. Okay? Here we go. Let's do 20 y to the 5th and 15 y to the, give me a number, 2. All right, here goes the mechanics. Ready? First thing you're going to ask is, what is the GCF of 20 and 15? Tell your neighbor, what is the GCF of 20 and 15? Once you have the GCF of 20 and 15, you rewrite that number. So that would be 5 times what? 4. And this one will be 5 times 3. So we're working just on the numbers, right? All right, let's break apart the y to the 5th. This is y times y times y times y times y. And this one is y times y. Now that we have it in factored form like this, what is the same here and here? What do they have in common? A 5 and how many y's? 2. A 5 and 2 y's. So that means that my GCF is 5y to the second. What's left on the first monomial? 4y to the third power. How about over here? Just the 3. do another one. Copy this one. 8x cubed and 20x to the fifth. So you do that one by yourself, find me the GCF, and then write the remainder. All right, tell your neighbor the GCF, please. All right, so I'm going to start with the numbers first. GCF between 8 and 20 was 4, you said? So this is written as 4 times 2, and this one is 4 times 5. And then this one is x times x times x, and this one is x times x times x times x times x. So now we can actually clearly see that it's got 1, 4, and 3 x's, a 4 and 3 x's in common. So my GCF is 4x cubed. What's left over for this one? Just the 2, and over here, 5x to the second. From 1 to 5, I'll come to borrow you with that. Yeah, 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay. All right. So now I showed you the mechanics. I'm going to give you another one. Don't copy this one. I want you to do it in your noodle. Ready? Here it goes. Let's say I gave you 12a to the fourth and 21a to the seventh. Don't copy that. You're doing that in here. First things first, think about it. Look at the 12. Look at the 21. What would be the GCF? Tell your neighbor just for 12 and 21. What number divides both? Everybody got it? All right. Next, how many variables do they have in common? Tell your neighbor, please. Therefore, our GCF is 3a to the fourth. Hands if you got that? Okay. However, what is left over? Let's see. Tell your neighbor what's left over for this side. 4. What's left over on this side? 7a to the third. That is correct. Notice that we did it without writing anything down. That's what we're going to be doing today. Now, if you still need to write things down, that's fine. But I'm trying to get you guys to do this automatically in your noodle, okay? Now, another way of looking at it, look up. Once you find your GCF, look at the number. What is 12 divided by 3? And what is 21 divided by 3? Okay? All right. I think we got this, yes? All right, we're going to put this one to bed. For your home play, the first 3 problems are like this. So far, so good? All right, shall we crank it up a little bit? Copy this one, example 1. Factor completely. We got 2x squared minus 3x. All right? Just copy it. I'm going to go over this one. Now, if you notice, now instead of being apart, basically I put 2 monomials together. Now it's a binomial, but the process is the same. All right, so check this out. I'm going to go through the process first to make sure everybody got it. However, I'm going to add one more step now that it became a polynomial. Ready? Here it goes. Think aloud. First, I'm going to check to make sure it's in standard form. Look at it. Is it in standard form? Yeah, from highest degree to lowest degree. Yes, it is. Second thing, I'm going to check for GCF. So question, is there a number that can be factored out of 2 and -3 aside from 1? No. Okay, so the numbers I'm going to leave by themselves. Do both of them have at least one x in common? Yes, so my GCF is x, and you're just paying attention. You'll copy right now. I'll let you copy with it. So that means that if we extract the GCF, what's left over on the first term? 2x. What's left over on the second term? Negative 3. Copy that, please. Now, for some of us, like I said, that we still need to write it out, that's fine. Because I tell my students every year, when in doubt, factor out. So look, this is another way of doing it. The first term, how can I write this in factored form? 2 times x times x. About the second term, negative 3 times x. So then here's a question. What's the same here and here? 1x, Mr. Q. All right, there it is. What's left over? On this side is 2x. About on this side? Negative 3. That's another way of approaching. All right? Example 1Q. Huh? Oh, yeah, by the way, these two are my factors. One factor, two factors, because they're multiplying. One factor, two factors. All right, copy this one. Example Q. Let's do 6 a to the 4th minus 9 a to the 3rd. What's the first thing that we said we were going to check for? Standard form. Is it in standard form? Yes. What's the second thing we check for? GCF. So start with the numbers first. Is there a number that divides 6 that divides negative 9? Tell me what that is, please. Okay, so far we got the number, okay. Is there a variable that both of them have? Yes, a. Up to what power? Up to the 3rd power. Both of them have at least to the 3rd power, okay. So if we take out the GCF from the first term, what's left over here? Remember, in our noodle we rewrote 6 using the 3, right? So 3 times what gives us 6? So that leaves us with 2, and how many A's? 1A, okay? Next, negative 9 using the 3, it would be what? Negative 3 times 3, right? So what's left over? Negative 3, because the 8 to the 3rd is right there. From 1 to 5, I'll come to you with binomials. Yeah, 5, 5, 5, okay. Let's do another one. Copy this one. Example, Shazam Q. 1 Shazam Q. Oh, and by the way, sorry. How many factors do we have? 2. 1, 2 factors. These are my factors, okay? All right, here we go. 12x cubed minus 30x to the 5th. Tell your neighbor the first thing you're going to check for, please. Is it in standard form? No, we need to rewrite it. So I write what? Negative 30x to the 5th, and then plus 12x cubed. All right. So look at the 30 and look at the 12. What numbers divide 30 and 12? 1. How about 2? Yes. How about 3? Yes. How about 4? 5? 6? Yeah, so that's going to be 6. My goodness, fly, you bug. 6. Okay. Now check this out before we continue. Look up, look up. Once we find the number, but if the leading coefficient, is this the leading coefficient? Yes. has a negative, we're going to make it a negative, that number. Okay? Just to get rid of that negative that's in the leading coefficient. Next, how many x's do they have in common? 3, so it's x cubed. Okay. All right, so what do we have left over? Let's see. What is negative 30 divided by negative 6? 5, and we took out 3 x's, so that leaves us with x squared. What is 12 divided by negative 6? Negative 2. And we took out the x cubed, and we are done. How many factors do we have? 2 factors. This one and this one. Why are they called factors? Because they are multiplying. That's what the parentheses indicates. Yeah, so I want you to get used to writing factors, because believe it or not, we're going to be in like the 3rd or 4th lesson of factoring. And then I'm going to ask the question, what are your factors? People are going to be like, yeah, I want to make sure we hammer this point that those are factors. Okay? So, last one of these, copy this one. Example, let's make this one mj cubed instead of cube. Example 1, mj cubed. 6y squared plus 18y. Factor completely, please. Copy and go. All right. So, what was the GCF, Valente, for these two? 6 for the two numbers. Hands if you got 6. Yes. Oh my goodness, projector. All right. And how many y's do they have in common? 1 y. That is correct. So let's see. 6 divided by 6 is 1. We took out a y, so that means we're left with y. Next. Or you can write 1y, that's fine. What is 18 divided by 6? 3, and we took out the y, so our factors are 6y and 1y plus 3. These are what? Our factors. Yes? All right. So, monomials, we did well. Binomials, we did well. Copy this one. Example 1 super, let's do this one super duper cube. Negative 3m minus 3m squared plus 3. So you neighbor, the first thing you're going to check for? Everyone? Standard form. All right. So help me rewrite it, please. Fredo, go. What do I write? Negative 3m to the second. Minus 3m. Plus 3. All right. So far, so good. GCF, is there a number that divides all 3 terms? Tell your neighbor what that is, please. 3, but we said if the leading coefficient has a negative, we're going to make it what? Negative 3. Okay. Do all 3 terms have a variable? No, so that's our GCF up to right there. Okay. So let's see what we have left over. What is negative 3 divided by negative 3? Positive 1, so we're left with m squared. Go to the next term. What is negative 3 divided by negative 3 again? Positive 1m. What is positive 3 divided by negative 3? Negative 1, and we're done. Okay? So if we were to write a small note on the side in regards to the steps, let me remember the first step. What would be the first step to check for? Yeah, write that down. Standard form. What would be the second thing we're going to check for after standard form? GCF. So we write ID, which means identify, GCF. And our last step is to simplify. And I'm going to write in parentheses factor. Factor. Because at the end we end up with what? Factors. This one is a factor, and this one is a factor. How many factors do we have here? 2. Factors. Factors. All right, from 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with that? Yeah, 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay. So the second part of the home plate is going to be up to right there. We good? Yeah? Okay. So right now we are at level 3. I'm going to crank it up to about level 8. Okay, right quick. And some of you are like, what? But I'm going to go step by step. Okay? So writing utensils down, look up to the screen. Here we go. Please just pay attention to this part because it's pretty lengthy. So let's say I gave you the polynomial x squared plus 5x plus 6. So your neighbor, the first thing you're going to do to check this one, what are the first 2 things? Okay, like I said, don't copy this, just pay attention. First one, standard form. Is it in standard form? Yes, from highest to lowest degree, okay. Second thing, GCF. Is there a GCF that divides all 3 terms? First numbers? No. About variables, do all 3 have the same variable? No. So that means we did step 1, and there is no GCF, so we're done with step 2. We're going to step 3, which is simplify or factor. So here goes the process, okay, and you're just paying attention, please. Here it goes. It's pretty lengthy, so stay focused. Now this process, hopefully you already did it before with your other teachers, but I'm going to go over it one more time. When we get to these trinomials and we need to factor, I use a method called the Power Rangers. Have you guys seen Power Rangers, any of you? So, you guys remember that program? Go, go, Power Rangers, yeah? So I draw my big X like this, you know, boom. And then I'm going to choose 2 numbers from the polynomial. Pay attention, please. The leading coefficient is 1, and I'm going to multiply that times the last number that goes on top. The middle term goes on the bottom coefficient, which is 5. So then I ask the question, now that I have those 2 numbers, what 2 numbers multiply to give me 6? That those same numbers add up to 5. And everyone says 2 and 3. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 plus 3 is 5. Are we there up to right there? Okay? Now that we found these 2 numbers, we're going to rewrite our trinomial. I bring down the first term, bring down the last term. Some of you are asking, what happened to the middle term, Mr. Q? Well, I'm going to replace the 5x with what we found. What did we find over here? 2 and 3. So the 5 becomes 2x and 3x. Copy up to right there, please. This is example Michael Jordan Q, MJQ. You already got that one? Okay, this is example 2, MJQ. So as people are finishing copying that, once again, we started with x squared plus 5x plus 6. We did the first 2 steps, which is it in standard form? It was. Is there a GCF? There wasn't. So what is the third thing we did? We started with our Power Rangers. Multiply the leading coefficient times the constant. That goes on top. The middle coefficient goes on the bottom. And I asked the question, what 2 numbers multiply give me the top number, and those same numbers add up to the bottom? We said 2 and 3. We rewrote the trinomial. We started with the first term, the last term, and the middle term. We replaced it with the 2 numbers we found. Okay, but we still haven't found our factors. Well, this next step, write your utensils down, look up, very important, known as factoring by grouping. I'm going to group the first 2, and then I'm going to group the last 2 terms. Why do I do that? Because I need to chunk it out. So look up. Look at the first 2 terms, and you're just paying attention. What would be the GCF for these 2? X, and that leaves us with x plus 2. What would be the GCF for these 2? 3, and that leaves us with x plus 2. Question, What's the same here and here? Yeah, x plus 2 and x plus 2, that's our first factor, x plus 2. What's left over for the first part? And the last part? So that's my second factor, x plus 3, and these are my factors. Copy that, please. Woo! Let's go! Let's go! Yeah, factoring is one of my favorite ones. Yes. Copy. All right. So here goes the entire process. Once again, standard form, yes. GCF, no. Starting with our Power Rangers. Multiply the lead quotient so the constant goes on top. Middle term on the bottom. Find two numbers that when you multiply, give us the top number. Same numbers add to the bottom. Rewrite our polynomial. Group them two at a time. Find GCF for each and find our factors. Okay? All right, let's do one together. Y'all ready? Here we go. Next to that. Let's do example 2, Star Wars Q. And let's do x squared plus 6x plus 8. Is it in standard form? Yes. Is there a GCF? No. So therefore, what number goes on top? 8. So 1 times 8 goes here. Put a big dot. What number goes underneath? The middle coefficient. And that's a plus. So what two numbers multiply give me 8? That when you add them give us 6. JP? 2 and 4. That is correct. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 plus 4 is 6. So what do we do next? Rewrite it, yeah? Bring down the x squared. Bring down the last term. And the middle term, instead of writing 6x, what do I write, everyone? 2x and 4x. So I write 2x plus 4x. How are we doing? All right, let's group the first two and the last two. And we start the process one more time. What is the GCF for the first two? X, and we're left with x plus 2. What's the GCF for the last two? 4 and 2? Yeah, that's fine. It works the same. Yeah, but you'll still end up with the same thing. You'll see right now. So GCF here, guys? Greatest? 4, yes. And we're left with x plus 2. So what's the same here and here? X plus 2. What's left over with the first part? X. The last part? 4. So this is x plus 4. And these are my factors. Woo! Let's go! From 1 to 5. How comfortable are you with these so far? 5, 5, 5, 4. Okay. Let's do one more. You do this one by yourself. Here we go. Example 2, Star Wars Q. Oh, we already did Star Wars. Let's do Shazam Q. We haven't done Shazam Q. 2 Shazam Q. 2 Shazam Q. All right, let's do x squared plus 7x plus 12. Do that one completely by yourself. You got about 45 seconds. Copy and go. All right, you should be just about done. Check with your neighbor, see where they're at. All right, so I'm going to check really quick. It is in standard form. There is no GCF, so what number goes on top, guys? 12, yes, because it's an invisible 1 times 12, okay. What number goes underneath? 7, that goes right there. So factors of 12 that add up to 7. 3 and 4, okay. So from there you should have done what? Help me out from here, Diego Rosas. Bring down the x squared and then? 3x plus 4x, yes. And then bring down the 12. Hands, have you got up to right there? Okay. Continue, Caleb. Group. Yeah, group the first two and the last two. So what is the GCF for the first two?
The first two would be x.
And we're left with?
X. So the second part. Just regular x.
Regular x plus 3. All right, continue. Isabella Gravias plus GCF is 4, and we're left with x. 12 divided by 4 is 3, yes. So everyone, what's the same here and here? X plus 3. And what's left over? The x and the plus 4. And these are my factors. All right? From 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with these? 5, 5, 5, 5, okay. Let's crank it up one more, yeah. Copy this one. Example 2. 4x squared plus 12x plus 8. X squared plus 12x plus 8. All right? Question. Is that in standard form? Yes. Is there a GCF? Yes, this time there is. What is our GCF for all three terms? 4. Okay. So, yeah, because each term is divided by 4. So what does that leave us with the first term? X squared. How about the second term? 3x. How about the last term? 2. Okay. Does this look familiar? Yeah. So what goes on top, JP? Yes, the 2. Because it's an invisible coefficient of 1 times 2. That goes on top. What goes underneath? Yes, the 3. So everyone, factors of 2 that add up to 3. 2 and 1, but I'm going to write 1 and 2. Okay. So, do we know what to do from there? Yeah, bring down the first term, x squared. Bring down the last term, plus 2. What do I write instead of 3x? What do I write, Alyssa? 1x plus 2x, yes, because it's right there. Okay. And what do we do from there? We group. Help me out, Dylan. GCF for the first 2. And we're left with? Thank you. How about GCF for the last 2? And we're left with? So guys, what's the same here and here? X plus 1. And what's left over? The x and the plus 2. But check this out. Look up, please. Whenever we have a situation where we take out the GCF at the beginning, you need to make sure you bring that down at the end. So my factors are 4, x plus 1, and x plus 2. Woo! Let's go! From 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with these? Yes? 5, 5, 5. Your homework for tonight is going to be, you have 3 of the others, 2 or 3 of the others, so you got about 6 of these. So enjoy, have a good one. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.